Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over Coleus care tips and how to turn your Coleus into a tree. If you're going to follow along with me, then please be sure to take pictures and tag me on Instagram afterwards. Thank you. No, not thank you. Let's just hop right into it. Just kidding.
I like it. We're going to use that. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Brielle and today I'm going to talk about Coleus plants. I'm so excited to finally talk about it because I get a lot of questions on how I take care of my Coleus plants indoors. So I do want to talk about care requirements first, and then later on in the video I will show you how I get a Coleus tree. So the first thing I want to talk about is lighting. Lighting is very important when it comes to these plants, and I like to keep mine in bright and direct light with some direct sun throughout the day. I have mine in a west-facing window, but it's shaded off by a lot of my other plants that are here, like my monstera, and so most of the day it will get bright and direct light with some direct sun towards the end of the day. I would say maybe about an hour to 2 hours. If you do leave it in direct sunlight, it will definitely wilt and it will cause you to water it a lot more often. I'll get into watering very soon, but I would suggest not a lot of direct sunlight for these plants. Just bright and direct light, and I've noticed they handle it very well. So on to watering. I like to water my Coleus plants when the soil, the top few inches of soil, become dry. I find that they do like a lot of water, but they are prone to root rot, so I try not to keep the soil soggy. I try to have a consistently moist soil. So a couple inches of soil, when it dries out, go ahead and give it a thorough watering, and that should be good for them. Fertilizing. So fertilizing is very, very important for the Coleus plant. I like to use fish emulsion when fertilizing, and I noticed that it helps maintain the vibrancy in the leaves, and it's very important for them because they grow so fast and they use a lot of energy. So we need to make sure we're feeding them and giving them that energy to keep producing these beautiful leaves for us. So I usually do that maybe at least once a month during the growing season. So I moved you guys a little closer so you can see this adorable Coleus up close here. And now I want to show you guys how I achieved my Coleus tree, or some people may call it a standard. It's very easy to do, so let's get into it. So first I like to grab my plant of choice and make sure you get some plant cutters and make sure that you clean them before using. So I sterilized mine with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and the first thing I want to do is find the main branch. And so here's the main stem, but it branches off into two. So you can choose which one you want to keep, but I'm going to go with this main one right here that goes up, and I'm going to cut off the second one. We're going to cut that right there. And you don't have to throw away the cuttings. This can be a whole nother plant, and I'll show you a little later how we can propagate this. So now that we got our main stem here, I would go in and pinch off just a couple of the little under leaves. And if you have a lot more towards the bottom, go ahead and just take those off so it forms like a stem, like a main trunk. Grab a stick and you're going to want to put it onto the side, and this is going to help train it to stand straight. can loosely wrap it. I have learned that if you go too tight, it will leave like little indents in the stem, and also it may cause it to break. Coleus are very fragile, and so if you're a little too rough with it, it could snap, and that would be a bummer, so we don't want that. The next step that you would want to do is where, I don't have to do this because I didn't take too much off, but where you would take the main stems off, you want to carve it, and I would usually just take that and you can just carve off where the main stem was. And that is so new growth doesn't start shooting back out in that same spot. So once you have your Coleus turned into a standard, over time it's going to keep growing and it's going to get bushier, and to maintain that bushiness, I like to prune it, and pruning will encourage more growth in the plant. And when pruning, let's see if I can get you guys a little closer. So when pruning, I like to find where there is a stem growing between two leaves, and I just pinch it off. And over time that will cause more bushiness and it will become a fuller plant, which is what we want, especially if we are trying to get a tree. Now I want to get into propagation, and this is super easy to do, and it's a fun way to make more plants for your family and friends, and for yourself if you want to have more Coleus in your house. So I'm going to show you really quick how I propagate my Coleus cuttings. So what I like to do is get the cutting and I take off any of the bottom leaves, and I try to take off some of the bigger ones as well, only because that's a lot of energy to keep these on. So I want most of the plant's energy to try to go towards the root system as fast as possible. So I like to take off the bigger leaves. And I'll just keep this, and the roots come out of where we took off those lower leaves. And so that's where the root system will develop. And I'm just gonna stick this into some water. I'll be right back. All right, so I got a jar of water, and I'm just gonna place my cutting into that jar. And usually this takes about a week or two to develop roots. So we're just gonna wait on that. And once it grows roots, I like to at least let it grow out to about maybe 2 to 3 inches before placing in soil. But once it does, put it in a regular potting mix and you're good to go. You have a whole new plant. All right, that's the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see any future videos that I will be posting, please subscribe so you can stay up to date with any new videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.